Alright, so I just watched the second episode of Iron Fist, and this one takes place all in a mental asylum. The last episode, the first one, I should say, not the last, well, it was the last one, but the first episode built up this relationship between Ward and Joy, who are Randy Dan, what's his name? Danny Rand. I keep calling him Randy Dan. I don't know why, but Randy Dan's old friends, Joy and Ward, who both run the company now, Rand Enterprises or whatever. And it's building this relationship where they don't trust him at all. They really don't think it's him at all, but they kind of start believing it a little bit. And here we get to see like them already starting to believe it, especially Joy, who is, I can't tell if she's supposed to be the romantic interest at right now. I'm assuming that Colleen Wing is going to be. I'm not really sure. I didn't read the comics, of course, but I have a feeling she's probably going to be. But they're kind of building up Joy to be maybe because they're childhood friends and stuff with Danny or whatever. But this whole episode really took place in a mental asylum, and it's really Iron Fist just going like, let me out, let me out, let me out. Even when he gets chances where he could get out and use his kung fu to fight off dudes and escape this mental asylum, which is not really heavily secured at all. There's like 2 or 3 guards, and that's about it. And they're not even guards. They're just people that, work there. They're not security guards. They're just, but he could have easily escaped like 2 or 3 times, but he decided not to. I guess because they did mention that he was under drugs. He was taking drugs and stuff, so I guess that makes sense. But they didn't really, I don't know, there's times when he's escaping, he's fine, he's just walking around. He didn't seem like really that drowsy or anything. I don't know, it was a little silly to me. But they built up this whole mental asylum thing, which I felt like should have came, like, in the later, like, last half of the season, It shouldn't have been the second episode where they already threw him in a mental asylum. Like, I felt like this should have been saved for later. Like, this is going to be the big, like, oh, they drugged him and now he's in here. How is he going to escape? But it still made sense here because no one knows who Danny is, so no one can save him. Because he just showed up out of nowhere like 15 years later, so no one knows who he is anymore. No one believes who he is, so he's just stuck in this mental asylum. Of course, Colleen Wing helps him out and stuff, and you find out she's a good person. She doesn't take money to say that Iron Fist is a bad guy because Ward wants her to sign papers so they can prosecute him or something, because Ward actually starts to kind of believe that it is Danny Rand, and if it's Danny Rand, then there's a problem. There might, he might own the company, because Danny owns 51% of the company legally, but whatever. The point is that it's a lot of just talking, a lot of walking around. I noticed this so far about this series. There's a lot of long takes of just people walking or looking at something, or there's one where like Danny's just like, what was he doing? This is from the first episode. I'm already confusing episodes, but the first one where he's just looking in his old house, and it's like a good 5-minute scene of him just looking at pictures, like, and he's got little flashbacks with some of the worst acting ever. I should say that right now. The acting in here is not top-notch at all. It's very, very weak for the most part, especially from the main character, or the main actor, I should say, Finn Jones. He's very, very miscast. He's not very charismatic, and I don't know, he just doesn't do a good job with the lines, but he's definitely not the worst here. I think the guy that plays Ward is pretty terrible, too. I think a lot of the side actors, like people that show up really quickly, like there's a flashback where you see Danny and Joy and Ward all together, when they're young, and they're awful actors, like, holy terrible. But, I don't know, we get a little bit of fighting here at the end. You get a little bit of some Iron Fist. You actually get to see him use his glow fist to punch a door. This whole thing about a doctor that starts to believe this guy's actually Danny Rand, and he's not just some crazy guy saying he's Danny Rand. It was an okay episode. Not great. If I had to give this one a score, I'd probably give this also a 6 out of 10. It was just, I don't know, so far it's been, right here. Not here, not here. It's just been right there. So, yeah, that's episode 3. No, that's episode 2. Now let's talk about episode 3.